really bother me. You're not that eight cooler. Dirty. Done. Sorry, plant. Sorry. Sorry about that. I just don't feel like filming today. I got home late from work. It's dark outside. I just do not feel like filming, but I'm holding myself accountable because day 3 of said challenge, where I will be 100% filming every day, unlike the gym where I said I'd go at least twice a week and have not gone twice a week. But I want to push myself. Day 3, I've not been very well in my stomach. I just got home from work. I don't like going to the bathrooms at work because you're sort of sharing the space with everybody. It's gross. Don't know why I'm sharing that. But today is day 3 of the 30-day challenge, which means I've got 27 more days to go. Woo! Yeah, it's going to be good. What do you think about that? Oh, yeah, pretty good. So even the plant agrees with me. I have not got a lot to talk about today, apart from just holding and clenching certain parts of my body so I don't release anything, because it's been a tough day. But holding myself accountable. I didn't want to say I don't want to say anyway, and I don't want hands on hips or say the word so. That is my challenge for today. 4 things not to say. I'm allowed to say no, I'm not. I'm going to be making sure that I don't use that word, because this is a growth challenge for me where I want to build my confidence, and I want to make sure that what's my end goal? My end goal is basically to build my confidence, and I'm going to do that 100% through talking on a camera, putting it on YouTube and being vulnerable. No, it doesn't make sense in my head. The more I'm talking myself out of it, the more I don't want to do it. But I'm sticking with it. I have to hold myself accountable, and I'm going to. We can talk more about the teaching and how I was teaching. I was walking around today at lunchtime, just thinking about, stuff. Normally I make phone calls, but nobody answered. So I thought, I've just got to walk around and just think, which is fine. I like to think, but I normally like to walk around and talk to people because I'm a communicator. I like connecting. I really like the connection with my family and some friends. So yeah, I'm definitely a connector. So I was thinking about teaching today and just how much it took me to realize I needed to give it up. And then you're like, it's an interesting journey. It really is. It wasn't something that I took lightly, and it really, really challenged me. I would talk to my best friend every day and say, hear me out. How about if I did this? What about if I did that? And then the next day it would be, I don't want to teach. I definitely don't want to teach. And then the next day after that would be, hear me out. What if I did this type of teaching? And then I literally flip-flopped for 3 years. And I probably flip-flopped for a year and a half before that to make that decision to go, I don't want to be in teaching anymore. So I didn't take that decision lightly, and it was a really challenging one. And I know that there are a lot of people my age, especially women, where we do start to go through perimenopause, and we do start to think about our life's choices. I don't regret any of my life choices, like not one single one. Oh, might be a couple, but not like big life changes like who I married, having kids, doing my career. Like, they're not regrets at all. I can 100% say I do not regret any of that at all. But I guess my big life change for me was going through menopause. I have a very supportive husband. And I didn't even know at the time I was going through menopause, perimenopause, sorry, because I do remember a lady I worked with, her name was Ash. And I remember one day, I can't tell you the time because, again, I said it yesterday, I don't really have a concept of time. Not that I'm dumb, because I'm not a very intelligent person. The last couple of years have just blurred. And then when I look back, I'm like, I don't actually remember the time when she said it. I just know where I was, and I know what I was wearing, and I know that feeling of when she made a comment about having her period. And I said, I haven't had my period in a couple of months. And she said, well, you only get a certain amount of eggs, so maybe you don't have any eggs left. And I just went, that's not right. I'm a woman as well. So you would think I know about my body, about a woman's body, about, Simple things like when you get to a certain age, your eggs start to drop off. And when you're born with all the eggs that you'll ever produce. That is insane. That mind blowing. Unless I got it wrong. I could have it wrong. Do I have it wrong? I'll have to fact check that. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know. I read a lot on the internet. My son always says, you can't believe everything on the internet. You just think it's real. But I do remember that feeling of her saying, you only have a certain amount of eggs. And I do remember that crushing feeling of getting in the car thinking, is this it? Am I going through, am I starting it was after 2020. That's when it was. 2020 was such a weird year for everybody. It was unprecedented. I hate that word. Every time I hear the word unprecedented, it takes me straight back to 2020, which was not a good year. My darling daughter had a big breakdown. I was managing school. No kids were allowed at school. So it was a very, very, for everyone, it was a challenging time for everybody. But I do remember becoming numb and just head down and just doing work and just not feeling anything because it was such a stressful time for everyone. I think I just turned off my emotions, like everything. So I know that when she said that, that was probably me going through menopause as well because I hadn't had my period for a while. And then I just remember that feeling, that complete betrayal from my body, that feeling of, what do you mean? What do you mean I don't have any more eggs? Like, what? Because all the people, I don't really have a whole lot of older people in my life, older ladies. There were a lot of older ladies in the church, but we didn't talk about perimenopause or the change, the great pause on Kath and Kim. She's the pause. We didn't, it's just something that wasn't really talked about. And for me, when I thought about menopause, I just thought, I'm not old enough. I don't want to get old and become invisible and just die, because that was my thinking. That's what was going to happen. I didn't know all the symptoms that were coming along with it either, like my lack of sleep. Not allowed to say that's another word, buzzword. Not allowed to say I don't remember what I was talking about. It was something about menopause. Oh yes, all the feelings that you get, like, there's so many symptoms and that are part of menopause. And my big one was I wasn't actually sleeping. I'd wake up around about 2. I just put it down to stress, which it was. I did have very high cortisol levels. My job was stressful. My sweet darling daughter, her breakdown was very stressful. That's another story. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting time where my body was under such immense pressure and stress. I just sort of did what a normal person would do and push through. But I didn't want to. I started to become a little bit sad, and I've never had anxiety before. Like, obviously anxious about, public speaking or feelings of anxiety, but I don't have anxiety. And that was something that started to become, I wouldn't say a problem, but something that was becoming more and more relevant to me. I'd get up in the morning and just have that sense of dread, that overwhelming sense of, what's happening? Like, what is happening? Couple that with my 18 months of lack of sleep and having no emotions at all, like just completely shut down and really just not wanting to be around anybody. That was a big thing for me. So when I finally went to the doctor and just cried and cried, I'm an emotional person anyway, so I would always cry over, little things. A dog on the road that got hit by a car, not hit by a car, but, if a dog was looking like it didn't have a home, I'd start crying. I'd cry at ads on TV. If I see something a little sad, I get really emotional. Songs move me. So yeah, I've always been a bit more in touch with those emotions. That's different. But this part where I was just crying, and I didn't like it. I know that sleep played a big part of it. So I'd wake up around about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then come and lay in the living room and have my hot flushes, which was disgusting. And I can't believe I did that for 18 months. I really can't believe I did that. That was the longest time of my life. Thank the Lord I had a phone I could scroll on, because I don't know what people did back in their early days. Just go and stare outside at the moon? I don't know what they did pre-phones. So I think that was part of my journey of why I had to leave teaching as well. I didn't want to blow up my world because it was like, oh, I just want change. I realized I'm not happy, and the best thing I could do for myself was actually put myself first, which as a mum and a wife and a person who I'm a people pleaser, I'm a reformed people pleaser, I always put everyone before myself. So I, decided that was it, done. So again, as per day 2 conversation that we had yesterday, I took a break, and honestly, it was the best thing ever. I don't feel guilty now, but probably up until end of last year, beginning of last year, because I officially left March last year, and I haven't looked back. I don't feel guilty anymore. There's a whole world outside of teaching, which I didn't know. You can pee when you want. You don't have to call the office to get someone down to watch the class while you go and take a dump. That was my big thing, because I poop a lot. Sorry. Most people do. I just poop extra because I'm full of crap. Yes. And that's about it. All right. Not allowed to say all right. That's another buzzword we're not saying. So, segue. I don't know how to segue without saying so. This is a really big learning curve for me. I would like to also say that putting yourself first is not selfish. It took my brain a lot to really process that, because I have a very selfish stepmother and stepsisters. I really struggle with selfishness. And it's not selfish to put yourself first, because all I could think of was, oh my gosh, I'm so selfish. But you're not, because my body was starting to break down. I was actually just not in a good headspace. I just can't even imagine where I'd be if I was still teaching. I'd probably be on probation, because I would have told someone to jog on, and I know exactly which child that would have been. And I wasn't becoming my best self, and that was good. So you're not selfish. I know my mindset was being raised by my stepmom, who is, I don't get selfish, but I just cannot understand. It is everything that I'm not. It goes against everything. So for me to say, hang on a minute, can we just, stop the world spinning for a minute? I need to hop off. That really challenged me. And it's only been up until that was 3 years after the decision date. Not allowed to say I am not selfish. To put yourself first is not selfish. Really good at giving advice, like I said, but taking it and mulling on it and chewing it over, and through the grace of God, I am okay with not being a teacher now. I still have my registration as a just in case, as a fallback, but I know I'm not going to fall back into it. But just in case, I know I won't. But just in case, I might need to. I don't need to. I really don't need to. It's been a blast. I'm not going to say yap, because apparently that when you say you want to have a yap, I've always said yap, but apparently if you say yap, it is a type of YouTube format. I'm not going to say that anymore, because I'm not doing this for anyone else. I'm doing it for myself, to look back and go, wow, you've come such a long way. So in 27 days time, when I do my 30th video, how many days are in June? 30. So there we go. Oh, it doesn't actually mean it's going to be in June, does it? Because it started from whatever date the 30 days will be. So it doesn't actually matter. I don't have an end date. I'm not going to pick an end date. I'm just going to wing it, because a wing it Rachel's the best. I like that. I think I'll do that. All right. Well, I better blow this popsicle stand before I blow out my underpants. Bye. Stay classy.